Yo, what it do, man? Got some sound now. Know you can hear the gunshots, man. Happy New Year's. Gunshots and fireworks. And I just dropped a new song on my other channel, man. I'm finna go and put that in the bio. Yeah, yeah. Oh well, I'm tripping. I can't edit it right now. I'll drop it in the chat though. I doubt you can click on that though. Let me share this too. Okay, then you see it right there on the screen, man. So I ain't got to pin nothing. It's all there. It's all there. Oh yeah, man, let me do this. Let me do this too. Tweaking. So too much going on at one time. Mm. All right, bet. But I ain't even got much to say for real, man. Just bored. This New Year's ain't got nothing to get into. Nothing to get into this New Year's, man. I ain't even got nothing to drink on, but I'm sitting ugly over here. I'm sitting ugly over here, but everybody got all type of stuff going on, man. I'm low key mad too, man. Nobody hit me up about none of this. All you different parties and shit. See, that's why I need some new friends. But yeah, man, this dude right here called Immortal Technique. an underground rapper that I ran into a long time ago. I really like his style. I like his music. And I hardly ever sat back and listened to his interviews, man. So I might as well just listen, watch a few of them right here. Kill time, I guess. Man, let's get it, man. Oh no, I'm tripping. All right. Boom.
The Bing.
Do you feel like they're gonna do the same thing with marijuana?
I think.
Let me start it over.
Why y'all niggas in the Bing?
Do you feel like they're gonna do the same thing with marijuana?
I think that marijuana is going to become the new beer of America. I think Budweiser and all of them are smart enough to line up. Coors Light, you notice all these Budweiser people. One other thing that I think is interesting about marijuana industry is that if you look at the people who are getting into it and have bought the licenses early, the majority of them are law enforcement, or they're connected to law enforcement somewhere. Like in California, some of the biggest places that they have, the people that run it are ex-law enforcement. And I've seen the way that they react when they get shaken down. Because whether it's Black or Latino gangs show up, yo, you operating in our neighborhood, homie. What about the tax? The blood tax, the Crip tax, the SA tax. You gotta pay something.
Right.
Okay, sure. Would you like to meet the company president tomorrow? He's an ex-gang intelligence officer. I'm sure he'd love to know your name and know what you're doing.
Smart.
All right, man, take care. Yeah. Do your fucking thing. You got to be protected by somebody down there. Listen, they will shake you down. And I think
it's corrupt like that.
Business already is interesting because you'll see the way that it operates. For example, you can't move trees in bulk from California to Oregon or Oregon to Washington. Each state is relegated into itself, so it's a closed market. Right. So that's why some places get super surplus. And that's why maybe like, I want to say a few years ago, the weed in Oregon, like Portland, dirt fucking cheap, whereas you went to California, double, triple the price, only because of the surplus. So now I'm wondering if it is legalized, how are they gonna do that across state lines? Right. And who's gonna have those licenses? And
the tax is like 12%, right? It's just crazy.
And the other part is, how can the government pay its bills with drug money when it's spent the last 40 years locking people up for paying
That's crazy.
with drug money?
It's crazy.
I think that's the flip side,
true
right?
too.
We talked about this.
When you think they ain't closing up that border
I was
though.
working with a professor named Jim Vredos from John Jay College, who was talking about restorative justice. That was the term that him and a lot of people had began to use.
In this interview 3 years ago, man. 3 years ago. But dude, he got a lot of knowledge about a lot of stuff going on out here. He really pay attention to what's going on in the world. And that's the reason why I listen to him. He the one taught me at a young age, bro. Being gangster ain't about being in the streets. Being gangster is about knowing what the fuck is going on around you and actually having some type of power or influence to do something about it, bro. That's gangster. Straight up.
And restorative justice simply means that if the state's going to make billions of dollars a year, then those cases need to get wiped. People need their voting rights back. People need to have the strikes that are put against them in family court and the inability to see their kids because of this stuff. Right. Those have to be corrected. Criminal cases where people no longer have can't get a job or they have felonies, those need to be stricken from the record. That's what I mean. If they're gonna wipe their slate clean,
they should do that for
then everybody else needs it. If they're gonna bail themselves out morally, right? Because it used to be a moral failing. That's, oh my God. And in the Latino community, it's 10 times worse. Because these people get shit-faced all fucking day, still go to work. But tu fumaste un poquito, el diablo, oh my God, he's like the devil. We gotta take you to church and fucking pray over you.
Oh yeah.
Shut up. If you were high, then you wouldn't have been doing half the shit you was doing. Right? And when the shit that some of my relatives say to me trips me out. They're like, what if you got in a car and drove while you were high? Right. And I'm like, what if somebody drank liquor, got into a car, and drove like you do, motherfucker? Fuck out of here. You know what's gonna happen if I get high, get in the car? I'm gonna drive 25 miles an hour to Waffle House.
That's facts, bro.
What happens when you get drunk? You hurt people. Shut the fuck up.
Word. It's a big difference.
Come on, bro.
It's a big difference.
So I think that's definitely things that are gonna have to be addressed. I think also
I feel like people do that only because they care about they social standings in the world. You know, it's all right to get drunk every year. It's New Year's right now, everybody drunk. So, of course, it's going to be people getting pulled over for DUIs and all type of shit. But if you get caught high behind the wheel, people start looking at you crazy. They looking at you crazy when you was more likely to kill somebody drunk than high. Because you was high behind the wheel, they looking at you like you just out of control, bro. It's a social thing, to tell you the truth.
The thing that a lot of people are very critical are the optics of it, right? Little white girl starts a business. Oh man, great entrepreneur. Brother started a bunch of weed dealers. You know, Jay-Z, the crack dealer for the rest of his life, right? Which means that JFK's father, bootlegger, for the rest of your life. What the fuck? Like, come on, you can't clear up your shit. You want to play that game with me? Okay, Thomas Jefferson.
Oh.
Old school Jeffrey Epstein of his fucking time.
Bro, this country was founded on gangsters, man. Them white boys was gangsters. They teach you that they were just these profound, just Christ-like individuals that created this country in the name of God and all that, bro. Them folks was gangsters. They did more gangster stuff back then than they doing now, bro. Y'all need to go. It's this book that they make us read called The Great Gatsby. The whole book is based off rich gangsters, man. Rich gangsters being able to do whatever they want to do way back in the day. And they still got streets named after them now. But you try to do the same thing as a black male, you the devil. And that's what he talking about. You try to do the same thing as a Mexican, you the cartel, you the devil. As a black man, you a gang member, you the devil. If you Italian, you a part of the mafia. So it's like they only want people, it's a social thing. They only want people like them getting ahead like that and getting off like that.
Country was founded by Jeffrey Epstein. Don't fucking play with me, dude. George Washington. You know, he didn't have wooden teeth. The teeth he had were the slaves' teeth that he knocked out of their fucking mouth, that he wanted to put in his mouth. Don't play with me. Don't tell me about the negativity and the criminal history of our people. I will hold up a mirror and show you the criminal history of this country, which is horrific compared to anything that we've had. And whenever people say, "Oh, get over it," you know, I just seen that interesting meme running around with the whites only fountain, and then they show you the same dude, and he's not that much older. He less than he's younger than my father.
Wow.
This is why I love Technique, man.
And he was born in that.
He knows so much. He got a lot of knowledge.
The reason why I think I've had a lot of success with, shout out to my brother Rizza Islam on the West Coast, talking to people, is because individuals have approached me and said, well, what have indigenous people gotten against fighting black people? Nothing, right? What did being a Buffalo Soldier get you? They told you was gonna get the right to vote in the early 1800s. They didn't get to you till 1967. Right. America didn't become a democracy until 1960, and it's still not.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, y'all not gonna play that game with me.
And this dude right here, he's so powerful with his words and the way he say things, bro. This is the reason why I became a liberal when I first got into politics a long time ago, when I was still a teenager. I became a hardcore liberal because of this guy, bro. He hit you with hardcore facts. You can't deny it, man. He forced you to have to look into the history and look at what's really going on behind the scenes. And so, hey, bro, and until y'all clean up a lot of corruption going on, and that's the reason why I don't even deal, I really don't even want to deal with politics no more, bro, because I try to be on the conservative side, but they don't want to deal with the problems, man. They only want solutions. They don't want to deal with the problems. And so the other side is always going to win if they keep throwing the problems up in your face, and it's problems that you can't look past. Like, we got to deal with this. And until you deal with it, ain't nothing going to change. And that's a fact. That's why I still got respect for dude, man. I really don't, on a lot of his political, theories, I don't really, dig into nowadays because I don't know. I kind of strayed away from that type of thinking now that I'm older. But like I said, I still got a lot of respect for him.
Well,
So whenever
no
people
place is
run-
actually.
So whenever people run that gambit
Yeah.
about what our people have done wrong and the stigmatism against us for selling drugs, we're the middleman, right? I always tell people El Chapo, he was in the news. El Chapo, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but fine. He's a middleman. He's not the boss. He represents the middleman between the cartels of Mexico and the American cartel. When I say
It's
the
true.
American cartel, I don't mean a guy with a sombrero and a fucking mustache. No,
Right.
an American cartel is run by a white guy, a guy who has friends on both, I don't know his name, but a guy who has friends on both sides of the aisle, who has access to legal drug and pharmaceutical companies and illegal stuff. You know, it's not a mystery that we invaded Afghanistan and heroin production goes up 95% to the highest it's ever been. That's not a. That's not, that's
For
not
those
an
who don't
accident.
know, Afghanistan is like they make a lot of heroin
Right.
out there.
Right, and you know, my country, Peru. Here's another fun.
See, that's why I love that underground rap, man, because they drop so many truth bombs in their music. It forces you to go look up this information and educate yourself, bro. That's why we needed that middle passage, man. We needed that. I think it was middle passage that he was gonna drop, and it's been going on for years, bro. You still ain't dropped middle passage, man. Still waiting on that. I know he was gonna shake the ground with that bit. But yeah, man, hardcore, bro. Nothing but truth.
Funny one. You've heard the phrase Colombian drug lord many times in the American lexicon, but you never heard Peruvian drug lord. Why? We moved 20, well, not we, I'm not. Peru moves 20, about, I would say, between, depending on the year, about 25 to almost 35% more heroin than all the other states of South America combined.
Cocaine or heroin?
Cocaine. The reason that it's not as discussed is because we have Peru has a direct deal with the cartel of the United States. And the Colombians have always had to go through Mexico, which is what gives them all that extra shit that goes along with it.
Right.
Meanwhile, drop off.
That's
in the
why
Virgin
you.
Islands,
That's why you never hear
drop off
nothing
in a
about
military
him.
base. Drop off here, right? When your militaries are like this, it's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, you just need some method of control. And people realized a long time ago, we're gonna have to control these 400 million people who live in this country. Hate the government or like it. It's an achievement to control 400 million people and have them in the same place and not destroy one another, right? Anyone ever throw a party at their house? And you involve alcohol? You did some clean, you know what I mean? That's some clean. A government got a party with 400 million people going on, right? As much as you hate them or think what they're doing is wrong, I always tell people, before we imagine revolution, just be prepared for anarchy and what that costs. Because that's insane. No government, no nothing, the full total breakdown. And that's why I remind people, that's why people revere Malcolm X so much, because he was a person who took all those things into account. He was a person that just wasn't doing
Into
blind
consideration.
shit. He was like, yo, they're gonna be consequences. When the revolution finally does start, there will be people who get killed on the front line. There are people who will have to die.
And not only that, is I thought he was going in this direction with it, but not only that, is that governments do exist for a reason. You got to remember that. Like he said, it's like one big party, and imagine if people start going crazy in the party and messing up the party, bro. You gotta have some type of security to keep things at bay, or you gotta at least have something going on to keep people entertained so they don't get bored and mess up the party. And so you got to be able to recreate that yourself. So you can't just have some total hate for the government, man, because a lot of what they do it for a reason. It's just you got a lot of corrupt individuals in the government that take advantage of that. You know, instead of bringing a little alcohol into the party so people can turn up and have a good time, they bring a little extra shit. They bring in fentanyl. Now you got people dropping dead in the party, man. So that's what's going on with America, bro. You got people going missing, dropping dead. You got bad things happening in the party, and everybody keeping their mouth closed about it. And it's all bad, man. Like, that's why I thought he was going with it when he said accountability. But that's the reason why I stopped listening to a lot of his points. specifically because he's still pushing this revolution talk. I don't like the revolution talk because unless we talk, he was just saying accountability, right? So unless we take accountability for ourselves in the mess that we creating, bro, it ain't no revolution, man. We just gonna get rolled over and stomped on. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why I had to chill out on a lot of my liberal, talking points that I used to talk on way back in the day, because I realized it wasn't going nowhere. We weren't going nowhere with it. But hopefully he speak on that, man. Because like I said, I like the way he talk about it.
There are people who will have to sacrifice, will have to find a contingency plan to protect the women and children.
That's how this works.
Right? It's like, oh my God. Now you're talking about the nuts and bolts of revolution, right? Che Guevara, a controversial figure. What's the difference between him and other people? He actually said, if someone gets condemned to execution, right? They have to face the death penalty, and I gave them that sentence, I'll be in the firing squad.
Right.
Some people found that barbaric. Is it any less barbaric than Arnold Schwarzenegger, who killed Tukey Williams by signing a piece of paper, but didn't have the courage to pull the lever himself?
Word.
Yeah.
What is the difference, right? And I guess that's where you get into
Accountability,
the nuts and
All
bolts
hypocrisy,
of a
man.
human being, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, are you less of a murderer because you ordered it rather than pulled the trigger?
Not at all.
Ah,
However, there's a detachment. It's just like the people who launch missiles from drones
a corporate
are
murder.
not the same as the people who shoot bullets from guns.
Right.
They don't feel the same guilt. They don't feel the same
Like a video game.
attachment to what happens. Yeah, it's like I hit this.
By the way, Happy New Year's, man, for the new people watching. Happy New Year's. For the people that will watch this live when it's over with, I know everybody out turning up right now. I might as well. I still might go out and get me a few beers, though. For sure. Because it's hard to do the sober thing, man. I've been trying, but boy, it's hard to do this sober thing. But, yeah, they're going ahead and get back into it. I might do that, too. I might go and grab some beers, come back and do it like a music stream or something like that, where I just listen to music the whole live. I just dropped a new song too. It's, matter of fact, it's in the comment section. Y'all go check that out, man.
Button, something blew up.
You can see it, but you
You have
like,
to
you know.
face it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting about warfare. Like in the past, in order to go to war, you couldn't go unless a member of your family led it. Like if you were the king, you couldn't just send a dolce. It had to be like your son or you.
Right.
And I think what was interesting about like the development of warfare is that we've been getting farther and farther apart from each other. We started out real close, and we saw what war cost us. Arms, legs, limbs, cracked open heads.
Right.
And we didn't learn from that.
I think that started with democracy. That's where the separation started to come. Where we're just the ones making the decisions. Protect our families. We have to make these decisions, but send everybody else out.
But I think, look, it's democracy, or it could be the republic in general, because at the end of the day, it looks like a functional system, but whatever government exists, at the end of the day, you have to recognize that it's simply just people who rule over other people.
Right.
And they created a bureaucracy or a system in between to give the image that somehow this is all going to run in other people's favor.
That's why you're supposed to send your best. If you ever heard of that phrase, send your best, is the reason why you send your best moral people, your best intellectual people to be in government so they can make the best decisions for the rest of everybody else. Because everybody else ain't gonna have the type of insight that they have on the world and just on things, period. That's why you send your best. They'll have the best outlook. They can give the best. They can help us reach the best outcome of what we are looking for as a people. You know, we should all be on one accord. But let's put it's the same thing of if you're gonna have a game, right? You need to have the smart person leading the game so everybody don't just crash out. This how it is with government, man. But now we done got so bad. We let the dumb people lead the day. It's the same thing, just like in the streets. We let the dumbest people lead the games, man. And in the government, we let the dumbest people lead the country. The dumbest people. I'm talking about, there's no reason why Joe Biden should be in office right now. None. No, then he's too old to be in office, bro. That's another thing. Send your best. Our best is not these old people who come from a world that's already passed. That's already passed them. They not. I ain't gonna say already passed them, but they not living in the world that we living in right now mentally. I'm gonna put it like that. And so it's like, bro, we gotta start sending our best. I like to do like Vivek Ramaswamy, somebody that's younger and somebody that understands, somebody that's smart, somebody that's articulate. That would be an example of sending your best. And once you send your best to lead the whole, they end up putting everybody else in a better position. Just like with a game. So I'm gonna go back to the same example. If you put the smart person ahead of the game, he's gonna make sure everybody's playing the part that they need to play, and make sure you playing the part that you best at, to make sure we stay strong as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Make sure our warriors, our fighters stay warriors and fighters. Make sure that teachers stay smart and stay morally intact, and that they not having sex with the teachers. You know, this is what the government should, not having sex with the students. This is what the government should be doing. Making sure our warriors stay warriors instead of sending trainers out there on the battlefield. You know, when you smart, when you leading something, you want to try to, when you send your best out, bro, they going to try to make sure they do the same for you and make sure you the best version of yourself too. But now we get what we get. Everybody is corrupt. We literally being led by like a crime boss family right now in the office. And so it trickles all the way down to the bottom, man. Everybody corrupt. So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
But it doesn't. It usually, there's an old book, I think Robert Michaels wrote it. It's called The Iron Law of Oligarchy. It says that whether a government is communist or capitalist, socialist, social democrat, whatever you choose to be, he said eventually they all fall victim to the iron law of oligarchy. Oligarchy means the rule of the few.
Yeah.
He said if it's a Senate, it becomes a few people in the Senate who control everything. A big Politburo, a communist, now we have a tiny group of people and an inner council. A presidency, sure, now we have a president, and now he has more powers than he ever had before. A king can't rule alone, right? That's an interesting thing.
Needs a hand.
He needs a hand, and the most important hand that he gets is from God. What happens when dictatorship's not enough? That's when monarchy comes into play, where you have to say, no, it's not just that I'm king, it's that God made me king. That's
or I'm God.
Right, and then people get involved in the control of fear and repression not being enough. It's not enough for a human being, I think. I think the ultimate control is that idea of faith and then what a person actually believes, because I think a human being I've met from all around the world, I've been everywhere, the Middle East, Asia, Africa, Latin America, and all human beings, if I can study their history, are the same. You can keep them enslaved, you can keep them on the ground, but the moment you take your foot off them, they'll stand up and they'll fight against you. Right? It doesn't matter if it's Britain occupying Ireland, if it's Japan occupying Korea, China. It doesn't matter if
France
it's
or Haiti.
France and Haiti. Eventually, you have to stay down there with the people, because the moment you let go of them, human beings are just wired to stand up and say, get the fuck away from me, get off me. It's like we were bred to be warriors, and it doesn't matter. Even the most calm human being, they see someone being abused in their family, they want to protect them. They have the natural inkling to fight. So you can't just conquer us with that. You have to make us believe in you as an oppressor. We can't just fear you. We have to believe that we wouldn't be anywhere without you.
Same with religion, you know. That's how religion get their power.
Who saved our souls because we were living in ignorance without you. And even if we choose the communist perspective, then we start to believe that our revolution began with a white man in Europe who wrote a manifesto when you came to the dark jungles of Africa and Latin America to teach us the complex concept of sharing. We knew what that was for thousands of years.
All right. This is crazy. Oh, man.
It's almost time.
Yeah, okay. This conversation can go on and on and on. You mentioned Diablo about 5 minutes back. How real was Dance with the Devil?
Ooh, good question.
I could take you to the building in Harlem where it happened.
Damn.
However,
So
I always
it's
tell
real.
people that I changed aspects of the story, obviously. Like, I wasn't on a roof. You know, I never raped a woman. Like, get the fuck out of here. But at the same time, I felt like because it happened in where I was, and because it was a story that I'd heard constantly, I was like, yo, this is like a ghetto fairy tale.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta tell this shit. But then I realized it's not a ghetto fairy tale. This is a part of okay, this is a part of human history, right? There's never been a song about rape, but at the same time, if we're all alive, here's an interesting thing, we're all related. Every single person who's alive is related because we all have an uncle who never had any kids and a great aunt who never had any kids. So their bloodline died.
Right.
The fact that we're all alive means we come from some branch that's maybe 2,000 to 3,000 years ago.
Right.
So every time a man rapes a woman, they're both two people who are alive, and he's raping someone who in some way, shape, or form, maybe
Is
2,
related.
3, or maybe 17, or maybe 175, which is a large number, but represents thousands of years, 175 generations. He's raping a part of himself. And also, one
Man, that's a
interesting
deep way to
fucked up
look at
thing,
it, bro.
is
I never
that
thought about it like that.
we don't realize how many people are the product of violation. In other words, marital rape was only a crime in the late 80s, only became a crime. So as long as you were married to a woman, you could do anything.
You can do
to her.
anything.
Choose your property. And I think that's seen through like Roman law tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you see in ancient Rome, the man had the power of life and death over his wife and children. In other words, if they felt like they disrespected and they stole from him, he could legally kill his wife and there were no consequences, which is fucked up because a lot of people say that's where the whole Catholic ceremony of the father giving the daughter to the husband, like I no longer have ownership of her, now you have ownership.
Right.
But again,
But the man was always like the hierarchy of the family. Even in the Bible, if a woman made a vow, the husband could disallow it and say, nah, she was bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't pay that no mind. And adultery had to involve a married woman.
right.
Your husband went out there and he did whatever that was not considered adultery. It had to involve a married woman because there was ownership to it, and that's where the violation came in. But Dance with the Devil being, did you expect like, I'm gonna write this record about this horrible
People will talk about it for 20
situation,
years, 30 years.
and this is gonna be like the breakthrough record of my career, like.
All right, if I could be totally honest, the part that surprised me is when
It's crazy.
gotta-
It's crazy how people always talk about that one song, Dance with the Devil. When he got so many other songs that's so much better than that, bro. So much more informational and that'll move you, you know, spiritually a whole lot deeper. Like, it's plenty of songs. Leaving the Past, Caught in the Hustle. I listen to that every day. I listen to The Martyr, the whole album. You know what I'm saying? I listen to I was about to say Goonies, but that's on The Martyr. I listen to a lot of his stuff, bro. A lot of his stuff got so much deep meaning to it. Why does everybody focus on this one dark song, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, all these other songs that he made that are so, they have a lot of light to them. I'm gonna put it like that. Why would you be so focused on this literal Dance with the Devil song, bro? Well, somebody's talking about killing and raping and all this. Why? Why are y'all so focused on that? Something so small compared to all these other projects, bro. Because that, like, I listened to Dance with the Devil, don't get me wrong. That kind of made me want to listen to more of his music, but when I listened to the other music, it blew my mind, man. Like, dead ass. Like, he literally painted a picture of a whole nother world I did not know exists through music, bro. and did that at a young age. I was like 16, 17, and ever since then, hooked on it. Hooked on it, bro. Shit changed my life for real. But yeah, I wish we can push more music like Immortal Technique out into the world, bro, out into the mainstream music scene, and so we can really start dropping real gems on people like back when Tupac was still alive, you know what I'm saying? But I doubt that's gonna ever happen. That's the reason why he's an underground rapper. That's the reason why, hey, people like that just don't really make it too far. Well, they don't want to make it too far, cause yeah, I think he did get rich, but they don't make it mainstream like they should. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream though, cause I wasn't planning on it being too long. I just knew I had to make at least one more video for the year ended, but I ended up coming on too late anyway. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, like I said, go check that song out. Matter of fact, since we talking about good music, this might be the last song that I make, because I don't want to keep just making random songs without ever putting out an album, you feel me? So, and tell you the truth, I don't even think I'm gonna ever put out an album. So I'm gonna just leave it at this right here. Unless I come out with an album, this is my last song. That's it. Last song, bro. But it's a dope song. I would play it right now, but I don't want to get no copyright strike on this live stream. So I might go live again and play it there. Yeah, and like play my old music that I made back in the past. Might just play all my songs that I ever made. But yeah, man, that's it for this stream. Appreciate you for popping up, whoever did pop up. Hey, man, out of here. But hey, another thing too, this 2024 I will start dropping a lot more videos, man. I slacked off. I already know, like, for the past 2-3 months I ain't dropped nothing. Yeah, man, I just really be going through depressions, man. I've been going through deep depressions ever since I was young, bro. And I just shut everything out. But yeah, it is like, it's just I don't really owe nobody no explanation, but for anybody that was wondering what was going on behind the scenes, boom. But yeah, that's it for this vid, man. Almost right at 40 minutes. Need to go and pop out and see what's going on, but I might be back in about an hour though.